It was a crisp morning, just after 10 a.m., when Judge Elias Thorne carefully navigated his obsidian-black Genesis G90 into a secluded parking area outside the bustling metropolis of Valenport. Dressed in a finely tailored charcoal suit and a crisp white shirt, he exuded an aura of calm authority. His slim briefcase, holding the final draft of his speech for the city's annual Judicial Leadership Summit, lay on the passenger seat, its weight a testament to his 3 decades of dedicated service to the state. Judge Thorne was a figure of quiet reverence, known for his unshakable integrity and the profound fairness of his rulings. He had presided over the city's 18th District Court for years, his reputation built on the principle that the law is blind to all but the truth. Yet, a moment later, a blinding flash of blue and red lights from a State Patrol cruiser shattered the morning's tranquility. Inside the patrol car, Officer Daniel Cross saw only a simple, unsettling equation: a black man alone in an expensive car in a remote area. His mind, trained on instinctual suspicion rather than objective fact, immediately radioed his partner, Officer Miller, who was en route. Without a moment's hesitation, Cross stepped out and approached the vehicle, his hand hovering over his weapon. Judge Thorne, an expert in reading people and situations, instinctively lowered his window, keeping his hands on the steering wheel, a universal sign of non-aggression. "Good morning, officer," he said, his voice as measured as a courtroom decree. "Is there a problem?" Officer Cross's eyes scanned the interior of the car, dismissing the briefcase, the polish with trim, and the overall sense of order. He saw only what he wanted to see. "We have a report of a vehicle matching this description from a nearby rest stop," he stated, his voice devoid of any real politeness. "Step out of the car, sir." Thorne blinked, but his composure remained intact. "I'm not aware of any such report. I'm simply resting here before heading to a meeting in Valenport. I can provide my license and registration." The offer was ignored. Officer Cross's hand fell fully on his holstered pistol. "Step out of the vehicle now," he barked, his tone shifting from suspicion to an unambiguous command. Elias Thorne's posture straightened slightly. He was a man who understood power and its potential for abuse. Slowly and deliberately, he opened his door and stepped onto the pavement. By the time Officer Miller arrived, the situation was irreversibly tainted. Officer Cross had Elias standing with his hands against the vehicle, the weight of an unwarranted search already upon them. "Officer, I do not consent to a search of my vehicle." Judge Thorne stated clearly, his voice firm. "That's obstruction," Cross snapped, and in an instant, the peaceful morning devolved into a blur of motion. Thorne's arm was twisted behind his back, and the cold metal of handcuffs clicked into place. Officer Miller, hesitant and unsure, followed suit. Judge Thorne offered no physical resistance, but his quiet voice cut through the air. "You are making a grave mistake." His words were not a threat, but a statement of unalterable fact. As he was led to the cruiser, he walked with a dignity that a badge and a gun could never strip away, a dignity built on a lifetime of quiet service. He was no longer just a man in an expensive suit. He had become a symbol. He had become an example of a justice system that, for all its grand proclamations, still saw some people as guilty until proven innocent, regardless of their position or power. As he was put into the backseat of the patrol car, a deep, unsettling calm washed over him. He was not angry yet, not furious. He was calculating. He knew they didn't know who he was. And he knew this story, unlike countless others, was not going to end in the silence of an unrecorded moment. This was just the beginning. In the quiet, walnut tree-lined streets of Crestwood, the heart of a 16-year-old boy named Elias Vance beat with singular purpose: to buy an unforgettable gift for his sister, Chloe's birthday. For 2 months, Elias had toiled in the bustling world of the local coffee shop, the daily grind. The constant whirring of the coffee grinder, the hiss of the milk steamer, and the murmur of hurried customers had become the soundtrack to his life. Elias often felt a sense of weariness from this side of town, with its rows of identical houses, a perpetually gray sky, and a life that felt endlessly the same. But Chloe was different. She was a single splash of color in his monochromatic world. Chloe was turning 10, but she was not just any young girl. She was an artist in her own right, a dreamer full of ideas who lived in her own small world. She spent countless hours in her old sketchbook, filling its pages with vivid drawings of the sky, trees, and people. Her ultimate dream was to one day see her drawings come to life. Chloe never expected grand gestures from Elias. She always treasured the smallest gifts he gave her. But this time, Elias wanted something more. He wanted to see the look of pure wonder on his sister's face, a look he knew would make every moment of his hard work worthwhile. So he persisted, despite the playful ridicule of his friends, the crushing exhaustion and the self-doubt that whispered in his mind. His goal was to buy a silver bracelet from a famous Ethelred and Company jewelry store in the town center. This bracelet was no ordinary piece of jewelry. It was a symbol of friendship, family, and the perseverance that lies behind hardship. The bracelet was adorned with delicate carvings of walnut leaves, the symbol of crestwood, making it all the more meaningful to Elias. The money he had saved was just enough to cover the price. Finally, the day arrived. He put on his favorite navy blue t-shirt and pulled up his pants. In his pocket lay a small cloth pouch tied with 3 knots, the sum of his hard work over many months. The walk to the store felt longer than usual. Unlike his part of town, the town center was serene and sophisticated. Every store was gleaming, and the windows seemed to hold a secret magic within. He finally reached Ethelred and Company. A small, shiny inscription on the door read, "Quality and elegance, our tradition." Elias felt a sudden rush of discomfort and instinctively adjusted the collar of his t-shirt. As he pushed open a heavy iron door, a beautiful chime echoed from the small bell above. The store's interior was even brighter than the outside. Everything was opulent, diamonds, gold necklaces, and dazzling rings. This was a world completely separate from Elias's simple life. The air was a blend of new leather, old paper, and expensive perfume. Behind the counter stood a woman named Eleanor Croft, in her 30s with tightly curled dark hair and sharp eyes. A constant, hidden mockery lurked on her face, making her seem as cold and untouchable as the expensive jewelry she sold. Eleanor's gaze lingered on Elias, scanning him from head to toe with a look of undisguised suspicion. "How can I help you?" Eleanor's voice was smooth but sharp, like a well-honed knife. I'd like to see that bracelet," Elias said, pointing to the glassy display case. A condescending smile touched Eleanor's lips. She stretched her arm, retrieved the bracelet from the case, and placed it on the counter. The shiny surface of the bracelet reflected her indifferent expression. "A piece like this might not be for your pocket," she said, before adding, "If you're looking for something else, you might want to try one of the cheaper stores down the street." Elias was filled with anger at her condescending tone, but he controlled himself. "I have the money," he said calmly. "I just want to look at it." This simple reply made Eleanor's smile falter, and she stared at him again. She gave a scornful laugh, picked up the bracelet, and carelessly placed it in front of him. Elias cautiously picked up the delicate piece. As he was admiring the intricate patterns and the shining surface, he accidentally dropped the bracelet. It slipped from his hand and fell onto the counter. The bracelet collided with a hard floor, creating a sharp, clattering sound that shattered the silence. "Thief!" Eleanor screamed. He tried to steal the bracelet. "Call the police." Her voice thundered through the store. Elias was stunned and tried to pick up the bracelet, but Eleanor yanked his hand away, yelling, "Don't touch that valuable item." Within a few moments, 2 police officers, Sergeant O'Malley and Officer Chin, walked through the door. Eleanor immediately pointed at Elias, shouting, "That's him, the young black thief." Without a second thought, O'Malley moved to put handcuffs on Elias. Elias's vision blurred, and a ringing filled his ears. I need to call my mother," he whispered. "Please, my mother, she's the chief of police." His words had no effect on O'Malley. Just then, a woman entered the store. Her presence, her gaze, commanded respect from everyone. Eleanor's aggression instantly vanished, and O'Malley's hand stopped short of putting the handcuffs on Elias. "What is happening here?" The woman's voice was calm and powerful. "Chief of Police Dr. Vance?" O'Malley's voice trembled with fear. "Yes, Sergeant O'Malley," she said, "and this is my son. I need you to explain to me why he is being accused of theft." The look of terror on O'Malley and Eleanor's faces washed away Elias's previous distress. Lena turned away from Eleanor. She was no longer just a woman, but an official, a protector of the law. She reprimanded O'Malley for attempting to arrest her son, without any evidence and told Eleanor that she would be held accountable for her racially charged accusations. She then ordered the store surveillance cameras to be checked. The footage confirmed Elias's innocence. O'Malley and Eleanor left the store in shame. Outside the store, Elias looked at his mother. "Is it over now?" Lena stood beside her son and patted his shoulder. "No, my dear," she said, her voice filled with determination. "This is just the beginning." She called her assistant and ordered an official investigation into the actions of Eleanor and O'Malley. It was not just because this happened to her son, but because such an injustice could not be tolerated as Elias stood beside his mother. He felt that this incident had not only caused him pain, but had also left an indelible mark on his soul, strengthening his belief in justice. He was no longer just a coffee boy. He had become a person who knew his worth and was ready to fight for justice.